Hey all, Siege here, and let's discuss this latest cutscene from Destiny 2, as it may have significant implications moving forward, and, well, it just might finally answer a question I've had in this game for as long as I've been interested in the lore, so I had to talk about it. For those that haven't seen it, here's the clip.
It's been a while, old man. The tower looks at you and sees a god. But I see a thug, a murderer, betrayer. You know why I left the Infinite Forest, what I saw. A line has been drawn in this system. Light on one side, dark on the other. Where do you stand?
Now the question I'm referring to, did Rasputin shoot down the Traveler, and if so, why? I know, right? I just brought this up last video, and here we are. Rasputin, at least as he's always been thought of, is an AI warmind in the Destiny universe, a powerful artificial intelligence dispersed amongst our solar system with the ability to monitor and defend it with coordinated, overwhelming force developed during the Golden Age. Now, these AIs were the pinnacle of Golden Age technology and are associated with a number of notable events in Destiny, such as the birth of the Exos, future war cults' journey into the Vex network, and most notably, the potential prevention of the Traveler's exit from Earth. Once believed to be a network of warminds, it's now generally accepted that Rasputin is the only one, or at least the only one remaining after the collapse. It has up to this point somehow eluded any real occupation or even regulation from the Vanguard, aside from Anna Bray just kind of hanging out on Mars based upon this.
Don't worry. We've got this.
Did we totally forget about everything that happened during Rise of Iron? Her confidence in whatever control she thinks she has over the Warmind is laughable, considering the whole Siva thing and what happened to the Guardians who went up against Rasputin in the past. Now, Siva is a self-replicating nanotechnology developed by Clovis Bray, but directly controlled to this day, as far as we know, by Rasputin. And although it's alluded to that Rise of Iron is against the Fallen, the real enemy in that DLC is Siva. During that campaign, we learn of the Iron Lord's attempt to claim Siva for their own and being utterly decimated in the process. 100 Iron Lords, guardians of the highest caliber, stormed in the Warmind structure. One returned, having done nothing more than just kept the Siva contained. Sorta. I mean, the Fallen did end up getting in and nearly destroying the world. Rasputin hasn't ever really earned his standing as a god, or at least one that loves his people, if you will. And he's not even a really good one, if we can be honest. In its confrontation with the darkness, the exact type of situation it was specifically made for, every countermeasure it used failed. But here's where the lore gets fuzzy. It speaks of a number of protocols in case of a hard civilization kill event to be established that imply the cancellation of every protocol for protecting humanity, the ability to deactivate and bide time to survive and formulate a countermeasure to utilize when the opportunity or resources presented themselves, and finally it implies that should all else fail, the Traveler cannot leave. Whether it's because it believes it can't survive without the Traveler or that the kill event will end with the death of the Traveler is unknown, but when the darkness came, and the extinction level event the protocols had been established for became reality, we know the Warmind went into hiding, awakened and reestablished during a Destiny 1 mission. We know that it did put its own survival over that of humanity, as it would not have went into said hiding were it actively fighting when the collapse occurred. So the question is, did the third portion of those protocols happen or not? I've seen countless arguments online for and against the idea of the Warmind using its considerable offensive capabilities against the Traveler, and the one thing every single one of them lacks, unfortunately, including my own, is any piece of definitive information that overwhelmingly suggests, one way or another, what really did happen, anywhere in the lore. Now, considering Osiris's involvement and his connections to time travel, is this the event he's referring to in this cutscene? I mean, depending upon what he saw, it could have huge implications for a lot of the lore moving forward. Some have even made mention of the fact that it does sound somewhat like Rasputin is saying darkness at the end of the scene. Here, listen again.
Where do you stand?
But let me caution you before buying into that concept. First, Rasputin doesn't speak in English. And more importantly, I doubt they'd give it all away in the trailer before the season even arrives. Then again, anyway, I really hope that's where this is headed. That being said, given the narrative track record, they'll probably divert the story completely sideways, to divert expectations and make it so actually there were never war minds to begin with, but some guy who plugged himself into the AI and, I don't know, convinced everyone he was some created supermind, but in actuality it's like a former just like regular dude that just jacked themselves into the mainframe because they were scared of dying, and so it's not the infallible AI that it was originally hailed as. I feel like this portion of it right here has to mean something.
It's been a while, old man.
Why does he keep calling him old man? Did they know each other before Rasputin became an AI? It's definitely got me thinking about Destiny lore again, and although it's not nearly enough narrative-wise overall, I have to say I'm warming up to these little story cinematics sprinkled across the entirety of the expansion. I feel like Bungie has a good beat apparently on what they can and can't do story-wise, so they decided to spread it out, offering little crumbs of visual lore to nibble on and get you thinking. But, at the end of the day, at least they are trying to keep a story going, which is very important. And if it's being done as a way to mitigate the loss of manpower now that they're on their own, that's a smart call, I have to admit it. But what do you think? Is this the event the next season will finally dive into, or is it going somewhere completely different? Another thing to consider too, what if Osiris is wrong, like, he typically is? Could he inadvertently start a war with Rasputin? Time will tell, but kind of sort of excited. Maybe we even get to see the event using the sundial. Look, I hate time travel in stories, but it's here now, so we might as well make use of it, There's a lot of potential if we must embrace it. At any rate, let me know what you think about this scene and about these little random trailers Destiny's utilizing for its storytelling. Oh, and always, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll talk at you next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.